I once knew a woman had chosen the wrong earrings before she ever looked in the mirror. Not because they were inexpensive, not because they were old-fashioned, but because the moment she fastened them, something quietly changed. Her face seemed to step back, while the earrings stepped forward. The jewelry spoke first, and the woman almost disappeared. That moment stayed with me. After spending decades helping women refine their personal style, I've learned that earrings are unlike any other accessory. They don't simply decorate your outfit. They frame every smile, soften or sharpen every expression, and quietly influence how the world sees your face. Welcome to the channel, where timeless style is never about chasing trends. It's about making thoughtful choices that honor the woman you are today. If you're over 60, you already know that confidence doesn't come from wearing more. It comes from wearing what truly belongs. In today's video, I'm going to share 5 earrings I rarely recommend anymore, not because they're ugly, and certainly not because you're too old for them. I simply believe they no longer tell the most beautiful story about the remarkable woman you've become. More importantly, I'll show you what I choose instead, and why these small changes can make your face look brighter, more balanced, more refined, and unmistakably elegant without trying to look younger. Because the most beautiful earrings are never the ones people remember. They're the ones that make people remember you. There is a moment I notice almost immediately when a woman walks into a fitting room. It isn't the color of her jacket, it isn't the cut of her trousers, and surprisingly, it isn't even her shoes. It's whether her earrings arrive before she does. That may sound like an unusual way to describe jewelry, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Some earrings demand attention the instant you enter a room. They're oversized, they swing dramatically with every step, they sparkle from every angle, almost asking everyone nearby to notice them first. And this is where most women get it completely wrong. Beautiful style isn't built by making one piece louder than everything else. It's built by creating harmony, where every detail quietly supports the woman wearing it. After 60, your face naturally becomes more expressive. Your smile carries more warmth. Your eyes tell more stories. Those are the features people should notice first. If your earrings constantly compete for attention, they interrupt that connection without you even realizing it. I remember helping a woman prepare for a family celebration. She wore an elegant navy dress that fit her beautifully. Her hair was softly styled. Everything felt graceful. Then she added a pair of oversized crystal hoops she had loved for years. The room changed. Not because the earrings were unattractive, they simply became the loudest voice in an otherwise beautiful conversation. We replaced them with a pair of medium-sized brushed gold earrings with clean, sculptural lines. The change took less than 30 seconds. Suddenly, people saw her smile before they saw her jewelry. That's the difference. Not trendy, not flashy, just beautifully balanced. This sounds like a small detail, but it changes everything. The finest jewelry should never compete with your presence. It should quietly strengthen it. The next time you get dressed for brunch, church, dinner with friends, or a family gathering, pause for one simple question before you leave the house. Will people remember my earrings, or will they remember my face? The answer is often the easiest style decision you'll make all day. But size isn't the only thing that changes how earrings affect your appearance. Sometimes, the real problem isn't how much attention they attract, it's the direction they pull your face. There is a lesson every fashion designer learns sooner or later. Gravity is always working. Not only on fabric, not only on posture, but on the way our eyes read a face. Now here's the part nobody talks about. Some earrings don't make a woman look older because of their style. They make her look tired because of their visual weight. Think about a long chandelier earring with heavy stones gathered near the bottom. Even when it isn't physically uncomfortable, your eyes naturally travel downward. Without realizing it, the entire face seems to follow. After 60, this becomes even more important. Our goal is no longer to create drama around the face. Our goal is to create light. I often invite clients to try a little experiment in front of the mirror. First, put on your favorite long earrings. Stand back, smile. Now gently cover the earrings with your hands. Don't look at the jewelry, look only at your face. Many women are surprised by what they see. Their eyes suddenly appear brighter. Their cheekbones seem more defined. Their expression feels lighter. The earrings weren't adding elegance. They were quietly pulling attention away from everything beautiful above them. I remember working with a woman who insisted that her long drop earrings made her look sophisticated because they had been expensive and beautifully crafted. She wasn't wrong. They were beautiful. They just weren't beautiful for her face anymore. We replaced them with shorter, softly curved gold earrings that lifted the eye instead of dragging it downward. She looked in the mirror for several seconds without saying a word. Then she smiled and quietly said, "I look rested." Not younger, rested. And there is a world of difference. Style after 60 is not about fighting age. It's about guiding the eye with intention. Choose earrings that encourage people to look toward your eyes, your smile, and your expression, not toward the lowest point of your jewelry. Because elegance has a direction, and the most flattering direction is almost always upward. But visual weight isn't the only thing that can work against you. Sometimes it's the sparkle itself that begins telling the wrong story. I know this may sound surprising. After all, we've been told for years that more sparkle means more glamour. But this is where almost every jewelry advertisement gets it backwards. Luxury has never been about how much light a piece reflects. It's about how beautifully it shares that light with the woman wearing it. As a designer, I don't ask one question when I look at a pair of earrings. I ask two. Do I notice the jewelry? Or do I notice the woman? Those are very different experiences. Highly polished crystals, oversized rhinestones, and intensely reflective finishes can be stunning under display lights in a jewelry store. They were designed to catch your attention. Real life is different. You're talking across a dinner table, laughing with grandchildren, meeting friends for lunch, walking into church on Sunday morning. In those moments, elegance doesn't come from flashing light in every direction. It comes from creating a soft, welcoming glow around your face. This sounds small, but it changes everything. One afternoon, a client brought 2 pairs of earrings to a fitting. The first pair was covered with brilliant crystals that sparkled every time she turned her head. The second pair was much simpler, soft brushed gold with a single creamy pearl. When she held them in her hands, she preferred the sparkling pair immediately. But once she tried them on, the room told a different story. The crystals asked everyone to admire the earrings. The pearls invited everyone to look into her eyes. That is the difference designers notice. Not shiny, not dull, simply refined. If you enjoy a little sparkle, don't give it up. Just choose sparkle that whispers instead of shouts. A satin finish, a brushed metal, a luminous pearl, a softly textured silver. These finishes don't compete with mature skin. They complement it. The goal isn't to make your jewelry brighter. The goal is to make your expression brighter. Because the most elegant woman in the room is rarely the one wearing the loudest jewelry. She's the one whose confidence is impossible to overlook. And yet, there is one mistake I see even more often than oversized earrings or too much sparkle. It has nothing to do with fashion. It has everything to do with holding on to a version of ourselves that quietly belongs to another chapter. There is something I never ask a woman to do. I never ask her to forget who she used to be. Because every chapter of her life deserves respect. But I do ask one gentle question. Does this still tell your story? Or does it tell the story of someone you used to be? That question has changed more wardrobes than any fashion trend ever could. Over the years, I've met women who carefully kept the same pair of earrings for 20, sometimes even 30 years. They wore them on anniversaries, family vacations, holiday dinners, important celebrations. The earrings became part of their memories. And memories are precious. But memories and personal style are not the same thing. Style is alive. It grows as you grow. It becomes quieter, more intentional, more confident. A woman once arrived carrying a velvet jewelry box that had traveled with her through nearly every important season of her adult life. Inside was a pair of bold, dangling earrings she absolutely adored. She smiled as she held them. Then she looked at herself wearing them. She became very quiet. After a long pause, she said something I'll never forget. "I think I've been dressing for the woman I remember, instead of the woman I am." There wasn't an ounce of sadness in her voice. Only clarity. And clarity is one of the greatest luxuries we gain with age. So we didn't throw the earrings away. We honored them. They had done their job beautifully for many years. Then we chose a pair that reflected the graceful, confident woman standing in front of the mirror that day. And something extraordinary happened. She didn't look younger. She looked more like herself. A well-dressed older woman doesn't chase the image she had 20 years ago. She allows her style to grow with her. That isn't giving something up. It's gaining something far more valuable. Authenticity. The most elegant women I've ever dressed all shared one quiet habit. They knew exactly when to let go of what no longer served them. And interestingly, the first thing I notice about those women isn't the jewelry they wear. It's something much more subtle. People often imagine that fashion designers begin with the jewelry. We don't. In fact, earrings are usually one of the last things we consider. Here's what catches my eye first. The shape of the face, the length of the neck, the width of the shoulders, the hairstyle, even the way a woman naturally holds her head. Only then do I ask what kind of earrings belong in that picture. Because earrings are not meant to live alone. They are part of a much larger composition. Imagine hanging a beautiful painting in the wrong frame. The painting doesn't become less beautiful. It simply loses the balance that allows people to appreciate it. Earrings work exactly the same way. And this is where many women spend far more money than they need to. They shop for beautiful earrings, instead of shopping for beautiful proportions. I have seen inexpensive earrings transform a woman's appearance because they respected her natural features. And I have seen luxury designer earrings do exactly the opposite because they ignored them. Price has very little to do with harmony. Proportion has everything to do with it. If your face is soft and rounded, earrings with gentle structure often create beautiful balance. If your features are more defined, slightly curved designs can soften the overall impression without taking away your confidence. If your hair is cut short, your earrings naturally become more visible. If your hair falls to your shoulders, a simpler shape often allows your hairstyle and jewelry to work together instead of competing. None of these are rigid rules. They are thoughtful observations, the kind that come from years of watching real women, not mannequins, stand in front of a mirror. Fashion trends change every season. Good proportion never does. The women who always seem effortlessly elegant usually aren't wearing the most expensive jewelry. They're wearing jewelry that understands the face it's framing. And once you recognize that, shopping becomes surprisingly simple. But before we finish, there's one final question I ask every client. It's the question that usually changes everything. After everything we've talked about today, people sometimes ask me a very simple question. So, what would you choose? My answer is almost never the name of a trend. It's never the newest collection, and it's certainly never the most expensive pair in the display case. I choose the earrings that disappear at exactly the right moment. Not because they lack beauty, because they have already done their job. If I were helping a woman over 60 build a jewelry collection today, I wouldn't start with 10 pairs. I'd start with 5 thoughtful ones. A softly brushed gold stud that catches the morning light without demanding attention. A modern pearl with clean lines instead of an old-fashioned setting. A small sculptural earring that feels artistic yet effortless. A graceful drop that moves gently instead of dramatically. And a simple silver design with quiet texture for the days when understated elegance says the most. Notice what these choices have in common. None of them are trying to impress anyone. They simply belong. That's a word I use often in my studio. Belong. Your earrings should belong to your face, to your lifestyle, to your personality, to the woman you've become after decades of living, loving, learning, and growing. Style after 60 is not about looking younger. It's about looking stronger, calmer, and more intentional. Comfort matters. But sloppy comfort is not the same thing as effortless elegance. Confidence matters. But confidence doesn't need to announce itself. The women whose style stays with me the longest are rarely the women wearing remarkable earrings. They're the women whose jewelry quietly allows their kindness, wisdom, and presence to become unforgettable. So the next time you open your jewelry box, don't ask yourself, which pair gets the most attention? Ask a better question. Which pair helps people see me most clearly? Because after all these years, that's the only question that has never gone out of style. And once you begin choosing earrings that honor the woman wearing them instead of competing with her, something remarkable happens. People stop complimenting your jewelry. They start complimenting you. If there's one idea I'd love for you to remember from today's conversation, it's this. Your earrings were never meant to become the most interesting thing about you. They were meant to help the world notice the woman wearing them. Over the years, I've watched fashion change more times than I can count. Trends have come and gone. Colors have risen and faded. Shapes have become fashionable, then forgotten. But true elegance has remained remarkably consistent. It isn't created by adding more. It's created by removing whatever competes with your confidence. The most stylish women I've ever met didn't own endless jewelry collections. They simply understood themselves. They knew what belonged, and just as importantly, they knew what no longer did. That's a lesson far more valuable than any trend forecast. So before you put on your earrings tomorrow morning, pause for a moment. Look in the mirror. Not to judge yourself, but to celebrate the woman looking back at you. Then choose the pair that lets her smile shine first. I'd love to hear from you. Which of today's earrings surprised you the most? Is there a pair you've loved for years that you now see a little differently? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your experiences often inspire other women more than you realize. And if you enjoy thoughtful conversations about timeless style, graceful dressing, and practical elegance for women over 60, I hope you'll subscribe and join me again. In our next video, we're going to talk about necklaces. Not the obvious mistakes, the quiet ones, the ones that can completely change the balance of an outfit without most women ever realizing why. Until then, take good care of yourself, and never let your jewelry speak louder than your presence.